but it's fine. What? Echo, echo. Yeah, yep. I can hear you. No echo. I can see it now. Probably about maybe half a second. Okay. My voice is awful. Me? Right. Okay. Yes. That's not the same stream as the one I have now. Yeah. I can see you increasing and reducing the size of your face. Yep. Mm-hmm. Rank up in jpda. Oh, no. I can hear. Oh, wait a minute. I don't hear anything from the stream.
Maybe now?
I mean, my sound. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. No,
Am
my
I
input's showing up now too. Okay, okay. I think that works.
am I hearing myself from the stream? Is that why I have a echo?
You must be.
In that case, I can hear your sound, or I can hear your voice.
Huh?
Yeah, I can hear the crackling. Oh.
All right. Output capture.
Can you put a? Uh, can you mute your stream? Oh, that was LSD, man.
That's a bad
What did you
trip, man.
put in
That's
my?
what that's what it feels like when you're doing B2C stuff. Like the whole time. Um,
Inception.
okay, so I
Are you
think
muted on Teams?
no. Well, so I don't have the only audio output I have is you through Teams to me. But I
Okay.
have the stream set up to capture what's going to the speaker, which is you, and input from the same speaker, which is what I'm talking you into.
You sound like speaking through a.
Well, so what's your audio output set to?
For me,
Yeah.
right now it's coming from my headphones.
Because I think
Mm-hmm.
so. My voice should be traveling through the stream, and I don't know if you're hearing it on the stream or if you're hearing it through Teams.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Although I'm not quite sure it even matters because this thing is picking it up. I mean, I can see the bars flapping, so I mean, it's picking it up.
I mean, your sound is okay. Just, I suspect it to be better.
Um, so let me see. Move this over here. So I guess in theory, if I was to go look at, say, if I was to go look
What's
at
that?
like because this is streaming to all of the things that I have hooked up, which are Twitch, Mixer, Facebook Live, YouTube Live.
Are we streaming on all these things at the same time?
Yeah.
Nice.
Why not, right? When in Rome, right? I mean, nobody watches anything I would. I mean, oh, somebody's watching on Facebook, but I don't know who that person would be. They might be kind of strange. Let's see.
Now your sound is better. If you change anything.
I didn't change anything. I changed the direction of my head, I guess.
Ooh, closer to the microphone.
Maybe more focused on it. I don't know.
Okay.
All right, hang on a sec. I need to kill Facebook though. I need to delete it and get off of it.
Ah, yes.
All right, so
Is the size of the font good enough?
hmm?
Is the size of the font good enough?
Okay. So is the sound okay? It is traveling through. You talk for a minute, Christos.
1 2 1 2 testing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks okay.
it is traveling through. You talk for a minute, Christos.
Oh, that's the same to me.
Ah, it is working. All right, cool, cool. Okay, it is working. So I'm gonna use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Get ready, and when I get back, we'll do it.
Yeah, I'll do the same. We'll come back at the same. Hey, I'm here.
Okay, you back?
Yeah.
Okay. You might want to zoom in a little bit and maybe use a use light theme. Might be easier to read.
Use the what? Oh, lighting. Yes. Oh God, lighting. Taking me back to my old days.
Control Shift P.
Fine, fine, fine. Same color. Oh my!
Or maybe not. Well, I don't know. Is that easier to read? Zoom in a little bit. It might be.
Why the hell is it not zooming? It's
Yeah,
not control.
maybe dark's okay. Actually, I think dark zoomed in a little bit will probably be fine.
Okay, let's do this. Zoomed in. And let's do. How about now?
Do change it to the default dark instead of the Visual Studio dark, because I think you get better syntax highlighting. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. I'm looking over here to see what it looks like on the monitor thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It looks good to me.
and do a control. What is it? Controls. Put your zoom back to normal,
It's control minus.
and then does that go all the way back to normal?
I think that's the normal one.
And then see if you can zoom just the text pane, which you should be able to do. Let me see.
No, I think it zooms the whole thing.
Yeah, it sucks. Ugh. Well, I guess you can hide your sidebar.
There's echo.
Maybe one more step.
One more step down.
No, one more step up.
That's it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty. That looks pretty readable over here. So
Do you have insane echo on your end?
Hmm?
When you speak, there's echo.
It might be an echo because you're hearing me from Teams. Let me mute my Teams. Let me mute my Teams voice. And I don't think it's going to go to the stream. Let's see. If I mute that.
Speak now. Nothing.
It mutes the whole thing. It mutes the whole device. Let's see. So transmit. What's the best way? Yeah, if I mute it in Teams, it mutes the mic in total. It doesn't just mute Teams; it mutes the microphone too.
That's stupid.
But
So the question would be, what's coming from the stream, or what do people on the stream hear?
well, do you still have the video running?
Yep.
Just mute your browser or whatever.
Oh, could do that. Speak now.
Okay.
Goddamn, that was it.
Okay. I'm surprised you're getting it that quick. I'm impressed that it's that fast.
And now you sound perfect, because before you were sounding like you were speaking from a tube.
Yeah. I guess you're hearing it twice. Okay.
Or
so an hour and a half in. Let's 73 minutes in. I guess now we can get to work. So
Right. 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 What do we need to do? Okay, today we are doing something exciting, which is configuring another function to validate a JOT token, JWT token, and then get the roles and permissions for that user. So we'll add some authorization onto our function, and we will have three functions that will actually do three different operations. One would be a get a single item from a Cosmos DB database. The other one would be a get a list of items from the Cosmos DB database, or a get all. And then there will be one that does a patch or an update to Cosmos DB. And based on the roles, we want to ensure that if you're coming in with a read-only role, you can't. You should get a 403 from the Azure function that does the read-write, whereas you should be able to read stuff. And then if you have the admin role or the writer role, whatever we decide to call it, then you should be able to perform all the operations.
So what have we done already? What have we done configuration-wise?
Configuration-wise, obviously, we have some apps on the Azure AD tenant, but I think we need to create new ones for this one just to keep the separation nice and clear. Okay. So I think we need to create two. No, I don't think. We need to create two new app registrations. One will be for the actual function, i.e. the API, and then the other one will be for the client, whichever client that is going to be. Ideally, or I think the plan for us is to use a Power App to hook into these function APIs. So the client app for now will use something like Postman to hit the endpoint and test the authentication authorization. And eventually we can pass the client ID and client secret to anyone so they can actually go and do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we should start with the actual Active Directory registrations, which is something we do every day. Getting fun. App registrations. So the first one will be the API one. So functions API. Should we make it multi-tenant or single-tenant?
Well,
let's make it multi-tenant because I think the demo that we want to showcase later should be for anyone to grab the package that will become available and run it anywhere. So I think it should be multi-tenant, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, so it depends. If we're gonna ask people to if we're gonna ask people to host the code on their own, then we can do single tenant, and they'll need to go register their own apps because that way they have a single tenant app that only accesses their own data instead of giving effectively you and your app access to their data. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Right? So if it's a service that we're going to host for other people to use, then multi-tenant makes a lot of sense. If it's a service for our company to use, you know, a line of business app or something that's only ever going to authenticate internal people, then that's going to be single tenant. And then if you're interested in doing this on your own tenant or in your own, you know, deploying this on your own, then you would create app registrations to reflect that in your system.
Yeah, I think single tenant, it makes more sense.
Yeah, so if we want to do if we want to do this in our development tenants, then we can do it here. And then when we're ready to use a production tenant, or if we wanted to use our corporate tenant or whatever, then we'll have to get new apps registered with the right permissions.
So the question now is, for the purpose of the demo, because we're creating it on our dev tenant, we will have to recreate that on whichever tenant the demo will run later on, right?
Yeah, and it depends if they're going to use a demo tenant. Then the demo tenant will need to make sure the apps are registered in the demo tenant. And if they're going to be in our corporate tenant, then of course we have to go through that process. But I think the thing about multi-tenancy is some of the stuff that build that change with publisher verification coming soon and that sort of thing. I think if you're a developer and you want the best chance of this working for you and for your customers, you need to get verified. And if you're building something internally for just your company, then just keep it to single tenant.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't tried the verification yet, but it will be interesting to see. I suspect that it will be at a company level, right? You need to do the verification, not individual developers.
Correct.
Correct?
Yeah, it's anybody who's publishing a multi-tenant app has to, their organization needs to be verified, and that goes through partner network. So you register as a Microsoft partner, you register for our marketplace program, and then you get verified domain verification and business or organizational validation too.
Nice. Nice.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Okay. So let's hit register. It's already created, which is awesome. Now we don't have a return URI, or I think we need to create a return URI. So that should be, for now, it should be our Postman redirect URL.
Well, this is our API itself, right?
Yep.
So
yeah. We don't need one. You're right. Sorry. See.
Now we will need one for
the client.
Well, because we're doing OBO on this one, right? We're going to do on behalf.
Yes. On behalf of.
We'll need one, and we'll need a secret for that. Do you use like the Windows 10 sticky note things?
I don't, but we could use this one for now.
I started using those, and they're super useful, especially because they synchronize to your Outlook inbox.
It does indeed. So that means I need to pass my. Yeah, I'm gonna use this one for now. My standard. Yeah. So adding a secret. Just for 1 year for now. I tend to lose them all the time because I don't use sticky notes like you. So there you go. I come and recreate them all the time. Because once you come up from this screen, then you can't. Configuration, we don't need to, but we need to expose an API, right?
Because do me a favor, because I'm still figuring out this OBS stuff. Do me a favor. Go back to your secrets.
Yeah.
Okay. Delete that one right now.
Why is it still there?
Just because you haven't completely navigated away yet. Delete it. All right. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this blanking thing that I have.
Nice, I like it.
Okay, now we're back. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Now we've already got the secret, so we can do the on behalf of.
Right. So
and next thing I want to do. Sorry, go on.
So the scopes that you need are going to be the scopes for the graph scopes that you need, right?
No, we don't do graph. Remember, we're doing Cosmos DB.
But we're doing OBO, I thought.
Well. Oh, you mean for the graph stuff?
Are you doing OBO to graph? I thought you were.
Well, initially, but remember we changed the demo to use Cosmos DB now.
Oh, no, but Cosmos doesn't do...
OBO, I know.
So, Cosmos doesn't do... if Cosmos doesn't do Azure AD authentication yet, which I don't think it does...
Correct. So what we're doing here is we are using the functions API as a proxy to our Cosmos DB, so we can control who has access and why.
Right. So we're going to do key vault and a secret, I guess.
Do we need a key vault and a secret?
Well, to store our Cosmos secret.
You can store it in the... Well, right now we're in the development phase. I mean, we could do that while we're developing locally, but when we go to production, we can use the app settings to store it as a database configuration setting. So it will be encrypted on the app itself rather than adding key vault, because we try to package the demo as in a deployable solution. So adding another element will probably be too complex for what we're trying to do.
Okay.
But that's another option, right?
No, that's cool. And because we can use Cosmos bindings. Do you have the Cosmos emulator for local dev?
No, I was thinking about developing directly into Cosmos. And in fact, if I go into Azure Functions, I was looking at the bindings this morning. Azure Functions Cosmos DB bindings.
Yeah, the bindings are great. I mean, you can, if you especially like for a simple like proxy type thing. I mean,
Yep. Yep.
you pretty much just write a binding. You don't even write the code.
So for here, we're going to use I was looking at this, and we're going to use the one that does the ACB get multiple docs using SQL query.
All right, cool.
That's not the one. No, it's this one. So here, what we're doing is we're defining the Cosmos DB collection and database.
Yep.
We grab the settings for the connection. Here we will do our authorization and validation of the JOT token to make sure that you are who you say you are and you have the appropriate permissions. And then we can return the single document or multiple documents. We could actually automate things a lot more. So you can see here that there is an option to actually execute the query as an input binding. But that means that by the time it executes, it's too late because you have already pulled the items out. And I mean, I don't want to execute before I have authorization. So I think it's better to do it in the code like this.
Now, on that point too, the other option would be to use EasyAuth, and then
Correct.
it won't execute until after the request is authorized.
Yes, but we're not using EasyAuth because we're doing local development and we want to be able to debug and test. Also, there will be a JOT token that gets generated by the Power App, which will be passed via API management, which will hit our function. And I want to make sure that EasyAuth is not something that may break things, as we don't have control or how it executes or the different moving parts change stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll keep it simple for now, right?
Once we get it published, we could always change it, right?
We could.
Just do it locally, and then once we get published, then we can delete dead code, which is always fun. So
you can't delete dead code if you publish it because we're using a class. So we're creating a CS project which will generate a class or the artifacts, and when you publish that to Azure Functions, the code becomes read-only.
Well,
so
sure.
You don't have access.
We could always have a branch that is an EasyAuth branch and a local branch.
True. Okay.
I guess it's just a demo.
Yeah, it is just a demo. So here we're just gonna say access as user or something.
Okay.
As a scope.
So what are our authorization rules going to be for this? Like, how do we say someone is or is not allowed to make a query? Like, what are our business rules surrounding that?
Role-based access. So as long as you have the appropriate role as a user, then you should be able to execute the query.
So what roles are we going to have?
We have a read-only role, and then we have a read-write. We can name them whatever we want, like writer and reader, or whatever your imagination likes.
So, are those going to be scopes, or are they going to be roles?
Well, I thought we should do roles, like define user roles within the app registration. But we can do, I suppose we can do scopes.
Well, no, I'm just thinking like, if we do roles, I guess it really just depends on how we want to do it in our API, right? If the API wants to look at a roles claim or if it wants to look at a scopes claim, in this case, it really doesn't even matter. In some cases, that might be a layered approach, right? Like you may have some roles and you may also have scopes because you may have 5 different roles as a user, but you may only want an application, like a client app, to only do read-only, for example. Like, I only want to view my balance on my mobile banking app, but I want to be able to transfer money from a desktop app, right? And
that's a good point.
Your role in the application doesn't change, but the scopes that are granted or allowed to be requested by that client would change.
So maybe we do both. So we do 2 scopes and then use a Postman and then create 2 different examples where we pass different scopes and then we get the different authorization, because I think that would be useful. Or is 2 months for this demo?
Well, no, I don't think it's too much at all. I think we should absolutely look at adding. We should absolutely add a couple roles, right? A read only and a do all role or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe those aren't even really good roles.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm thinking about what the role, what would sort of make sense for roles. Like, let's say,
Developer and PM. Maybe as a developer, you have access to read write. As a PM, you only have access to reads. So you don't want your PMs to mess up your dev environment and data. Or the other way around. I don't know, man. Let's lock out the IT pros.
I think that's fine. I think, yeah, let's do access as user first. Let's just have one scope and we'll do two roles
Just one
to
scope.
start. And we can always
Okay.
add another scope later as a different example. So.
Cool. So we're adding this one now. And it's important to, so we have this one here, and that's our scope.
Well, we can change that URI if we'd like. Maybe make it easier to read. The pencil.
Yes, fine. What should we say? Function.
I don't know. Something that's easier for us to read. Although, we did single tenant, right?
We did single tenant, yes.
Okay, if it's single tenant, then this just has to be unique within the tenant. So
which should be fine.
That's probably fine, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Function API demo.
Okay.
Ah, look at that! It changed it. Amazing. Right. So we have our API. I can actually go and delete these ones because we don't need them, right?
True.
You seem troubled there. We're not playing with graph, right? So technically, our API only validates the token and checks the.
That's also the sign-in permission. But to be honest, I've never tried not having any API permissions on here.
We can always try that and see what happens, right?
Yeah. So let's try it and see.
Okay. I think it worked for me when I was doing the demo. So I don't think we need to add anything else. Oh, wait a minute. Roles, right? The roles need to come into this one, not the client app, correct?
The manifest. Yeah, the roles want to go in our manifest, not in here.
So not these roles, because when I started playing with roles, I was like, yeah, I'm doing it right. It should be here, but it's not. It's actually here.
Yeah, I mean, you went to the logical position.
Why would it be so easy?
Instead, you get to manipulate JSON now. Remember,
absolutely.
It could be worse.
So,
this could be YAML. So.
Was it like, what am I looking for? Azure AD, application registration roles.
Manifest app roles.
Add roles and get them from a token. There you go. There is a document for that.
Yep.
We have a document. Right. So this one is allowed member types. This is what we need to copy here, actually, the whole JSON. And there are two types, just for people that are watching this one. We have the user one, which applies to the user, but we also have an application level permission. Never used the application one. I've never used the application one, so I've always done.
That's when you're in the API permissions blade and you add a permission and they've got delegated and app only.
All right. Okay. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So
now you need a GUID.
I need a GUID. I can change this one, right?
I just changed an A to a B, but I can only imagine how many different roles there are in the database that have one character off of the sample one. But there's always GUIDgen.com, right? That's the one I use. You can always go get a fresh one. And then I've noticed too, I don't know if there are some artifacts from the HTML or whatever, but I've noticed that recently when I go copy one of these out of the docs, It doesn't always save, but it looks like your save button's good, so you should be able to save it. What's key here, though, is the value field on line 16. That is what will come back in the roles claim to your app. So that's ultimately the thing that we're going to have to look for in your API.
Should we make it lowercase so we don't have to do comparison, blah, blah, blah?
Sure. And it's not going to be writer anyway, right? Like, what is this one? Yeah. Read write or data.readwrite.all or something like that, or data.readwrite? Because what kind of data is going to be in here?
Just cosmos DB stuff.
We probably don't need all, because all, I think, would get conflated with an app permission. Right?
So data.readWrite, and then we'll have data.read, right?
And then, yeah, our second one will be read. Now, we could probably capitalize those just to make them easier to read. And just do like a, ordinal ignore case on the string comparison.
Yeah, we usually do that, but it just adds more code. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Right. There you go. And change that to read write. Just keep it consistent, right? And then the next one will be, again, for users. And we want to add, let's put a comma over here. And add another one. And that should be data.read.
You need an opening curly brace on that one.
Yes, we do indeed. Thank you, sir.
And a new GUID.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that is cool is some of the stuff that was announced at Graph, or at Build for Graph was now you can do this programmatically. So you can create an app registration from the Graph that includes custom roles, which was a
yeah.
So that's super cool. Makes this a little bit easier. Maybe that should be our next thing. Our next stream is just to write a PowerShell script or a tool that says, generate me an app registration with roles. I don't want to type all this in and copy and paste and everything else.
Well, considering how often we have to do these for our demos and for the purpose of...
Actually, here, try one. I want you to try one more thing.
Go on.
In the display name on 12,
okay,
go over to the data.readWrite, and at the very beginning, hit Windows semicolon. Is it Windows semicolon? No. Yes, it is. Hit Windows semicolon.
That opened up the emoji on my local machine.
All right, put an emoji in there.
Can I?
I don't know. That's what I'm curious of.
Well, I'm trying to do, but it seems to open the emoji one. Emoji panel settings? Oh, no.
Well, you just get one and copy it to your clipboard.
Yeah.
This is probably a distraction. I'm just curious now.
What is it? Windows what?
Windows semicolon.
Windows semicolon. I thought it was a... How do I copy one?
You put one in the run box and copy it.
Okay, try now. Can you imagine spending half an hour trying to work out? Oh, it doesn't do run. Oh, yeah, it does. Right, I'm copying these. Let's see what happens now. Are you curious to see if it allows emojis?
Yeah. All right, save it and see if it works.
Are we going to bring AD down by doing this?
Hey, there's only one way to find out. Let's try it.
You did save. It's not complaining, so it accepts all ASCII characters.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Well, it should be Unicode. So, which I mean,
sorry, yeah,
for lots of different languages, we'd need Unicode. So let's leave it because it's only the display name. So it should show up in the UI, which will be great when we go to create our client. So, all right. So we're done with our
API registration.
API registration now, right?
Yep.
All right.
It's down here. So we need a new registration for the client. So function and type today client demo.
Okay.
And then single, and then nothing here. We're just gonna leave it blank. Now we need the authentication if we're going to use Postman for now. I think we need to add a platform on the web.
So we can do web, yeah, because it's going to open up a thing anyway. And then Postman has they've got like a magic URL for themselves.
Yeah. I'm finding it now. Just give me a second. I've done it so many times that it should be somewhere around here. Get new access that can. It's postman.com/OAuth.
What was that?
What
was that?
I don't know. And we need both access tokens and ID tokens. Someone is trying to hijack our stream.
I actually don't think we need. Either, because Postman can do Postman can do an authorization code flow with a secret.
Yes.
So I don't even think we need that. So yeah.
Okay.
Which is great, because anytime we don't have to enable those, that's a good day. All right, let's go add some API permissions.
Let's do this. Right. I'm going to remove these ones.
Well, you do need to sign the user in. So leave that one. You do need to sign them in.
Fine. So my APIs, and from here we can see the functions API, and then we'll say access as a user.
All right, what about, oh, that's right, because we do role assignment elsewhere. All right, cool. So we got that. All right.
Add permissions.
All right, and then we need to grant them.
Wait a minute. Why do you need to grant the permissions? Would not be part of the interactive flow that Postman will provide?
Yeah, it could be, but you might as well do it here since you're an admin and you can do it now.
The power of the admin.
Now, to get users in, well, let's go ahead and get your secret first, because you need to get a secret from here. So tell me when you go generate one, and I will do the thing again.
Okay, so to get the secret, you come here in case people want to follow, and then you can blank out. You just click.
Okay, so now we need to add users to our API roles, right?
Correct. That's the fun bit here. So we need to come into the enterprise applications. I mean, we have been lovely. Oh, yep. So we have, so it's the functions API one, right?
Yep.
Click on this one. And then if I remember correctly, assign users and groups.
Yep. And here there are a couple different things to keep in mind. So if we look under properties for these, in the properties window, that's where we can force assignment. So if you didn't want users to be able to sign in to the app without, that's a great name, by the way. That logo ended up pretty great. If you don't want users, if you don't want users to be able to sign in at all, if they're not assigned, that's what user assignment required means.
Okay.
Because by default, anybody can sign in. Now, they may not have the appropriate roles, but anybody can sign in. And so because of that, you as the API owner, the API designer, you are responsible for making sure that all of the metadata is correct, right? That if your API requires roles to do certain tasks, that you enforce that. You know, we'll give you the data, but ultimately it's up to you to do the actual enforcement in your API.
Right.
So, but for this, I don't think it matters. We don't need user assignment for this because anybody can sign in. They just won't have the right role, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so let's assign a role.
So users. We'll do Alex from my enterprise. We'll select him, and he will have data.read.
Nice. It worked.
Yeah, it seems that
awesome.
somebody did a proper testing with
I love that.
Unicode. Yeah.
Love it.
Well, I'm gonna start using it more frequently.
Yep.
And assign that, and then we'll come back and do another assignment. So he will be a read-only user, and then I will assign myself to have read-write permissions.
Hang on. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. Hang on.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, it's great. It even it italicizes them for an as yet unknown reason. I guess because it's a change.
Yeah, it needs to be assigned first.
So then does this show up? Oh, this is fantastic. Yes. So what I'm going to do is all of my SaaS customers, I'm going to start telling them to add some flair, to their app registration roles with emoji. Okay, cool. So you got a user assigned. So you got some users assigned. Cool. Mm-hmm. And you've got a scope assigned to our application, which is cool, to our client app.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So now, I guess now we go over to Postman and start and make a call to it, right? And that way we can check out the token and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have Postman here. Can you believe that? Well, this is my VM, so yeah. Let's go and download. Scanning for viruses. Come on, VM, you can do it. There you go.
Surely there must be an API testing tool extension for VS Code, I would think, at this point.
There are a few, but I think you don't get as much for your buck because I think it will be, you have to define something in a JSON file, for the headers or what have you. I don't know how GUI driven will be, because in VS Code everything is more or less a setting or JSON file that drives UI.
Right.
I need to sign up now. Oh God, I don't even remember what I used the last time. So let me pick up I have an account. I think I put into my secrets management tool. I use Bitwarden. What do you use?
LastPass.
Oh, man.
I don't really like it, but I don't really know what the alternatives are either.
You should use definitely Bitwarden. It's pretty awesome.
Which one?
Bitwarden.
Okay.
It's all devices, all operating systems. It's free. Also has a family plan. It's open source. It's fantastic. And I moved away from 1Password due to bad security practices and bad business. So highly recommend it.
Cool.
I mean, I even convinced my wife to use that.
See, my wife just started using LastPass, and we use like the families one that lets you share them back and forth. And I don't think I'm going to go have that battle again.
Oh God, I don't have an account with Postman. So what did I use the last time? I signed up with Google. Maybe?
I don't think you need one. I mean, you just skip it, right? At the bottom, skip signing in and take me straight to the app.
Yeah. I didn't even realize. There you go. My God, this is too white. As in, I use the dark theme usually. So create a request. Okay. Right. What are we doing now? Testing the client app, right?
So I guess now we need to get a token as your client app, and we need to get your function up and running here in a minute.
Well, we don't have a function yet, right?
Oh, I thought you already had one.
Well, we had one that is being deployed somewhere else, and it's not configured yet for all these things. So I think next is we do the function.
Oh yeah, okay, all right, yeah. Let's dig into the function.
Right. So what I have here is some bare bones code that we use.
Oh, so
Ah,
close. So close. That's all right.
so
Just delete them
fine.
as soon as we're finished. I guess they don't
Yeah,
really do
there you go.
much, and it's a test tenant, so it's probably okay.
Indeed. Yeah. I mean, people can test our tenants. Anyway, so what we have here is a bare bone ones. And the nice thing is that in this code that I have here, we're actually doing the token validation. We're using MSAL to, we're grabbing the settings from the config, and then we're getting the access token. We're using MSAL, and we're adding the authentication header here for if we need to use it somewhere else. But no, I don't think that's the one. That's the token validator. There you go. That's the one we need. No MSAL needed, right? So what we're doing here is, in this code, which I wrote before, we grab the authorization header. So Postman should send a request to our function with an authorization header attached to it. So we have a bare access token there. And then we validate the token against our instance. And if everything goes well, then we get a claims principal back.
So let's talk about that validation for a minute, right? So,
yep.
So you're going to get a token, which an Azure AD token is just a long base 64 URL encoded string with some dots in the middle. And instead of doing any of the validation yourself, we're effectively using ASP.NET cores, or I guess what is that, system.security for the JWT token handler. Or this is identity model. Oh, no, yeah, system identity model tokens. Okay. So we're going to use Microsoft Identity Model protocols and OpenID Connect to go fetch the configuration. And we're going to use system.identity model for validating the JWT.
Correct.
So if you pull up that URL that you're using to get the config.
This one?
Yep. So that one, so you've got your specific instance in it. And in regular Azure AD, that's fine. You can use that, or you can use the common one, right? So if you took that URL and opened it up in a browser and swapped in either
common or instance, right?
Yeah, if you put in common, you'll get a set of keys. And in fact, you could even make that request in Postman, so we get a nice formatted thing. There's a good Edge extension I've been using too called JSON Formatter. That's pretty good. But if we look at what this is
for Edge,
for formatting JSON in the browser like that. But if we look, you'll notice we have a token endpoint. We have the JWK's URI, which is probably one of the more important ones. And then some other data. And this is all the OpenID Connect OpenID Connect data. But one of the things you'll notice is the issuer. So on line 32, we have the issuer. And the issuer is one of the claims that we have to validate. And you'll notice in the common endpoint, it's got this sort of string replace or string format type of a thing going with tenant ID as a token in the path. Now, if you were to go change that and instead of common, use your use the name of your use that on Microsoft.com. And here you can use a tenant GUID, you can use a tenant name, or you can use any of the domain names that you've verified with your tenant. And so now if you scroll down to line 32, now our
check that out. Look at that.
Yeah, because any tokens that we issue are going to have that GUID in them for whichever tenant issued them, and that's what you have to validate against. So it's convenient to use common, and in some cases you have to. Because, for example, go back to the common one.
Oh, back to the common. Okay. Maybe I should have another request there, so we don't have to swap between the two.
That's okay. It's just one word. So if you go and then click on that JWK's URI, line 8, follow that link.
No, send.
Yep. And if you look at the keys, you'll notice we have like CTT, UHMJ, and if you scroll down, there'll be a couple other keys, and those key IDs, that's the data you're going to get in the token header to know how to validate it.
Right.
And again, like SSZZ, SB, and H, blah, blah, blah. No, there's probably one more, maybe one more.
Yep. Down here, I'll just say,
So if you go back and replace common with your tenant name here, you'll see those keys are the same.
Oh,
There may be some extras, but
because it's all on Microsoft, right? I'm
right.
running my
Well, it's because you're running an Azure AD. So
Azure AD. Yeah.
so these keys will be the same, and the advantage of that means you can use common or your tenanted one.
Seems to have less keys for this one though, right? The other one had 3. I think we have. Oh no, it's
Yeah, you've
3.
got
Sorry,
3 here.
it scrolls down all the way. Like okay.
Yep, and
Gotcha.
sometimes you probably will find more, you may find additional ones, but you should always have the same set in both.
Okay.
You may have extra ones in one or the other, but you should always have. There should always be the same ones in each one because you can use that metadata. You can pull that metadata from either your tenanted one if you're going to handle, or if you don't feel like messing with it at all, or from the common one. If you, for example, maybe need to validate multiple issuers or something like that, like in a multi-tenant case. So cool. So your your code is handling fetching all this metadata, right?
Correct. Yep.
And then using JWT security token handler to actually do the validation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay.
Here, yep. And we're validating the parameters here is that we actually validate the audience and we validate the issuer. And in fact, when I was playing with this code the last time, I messed out the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying you're not the right audience for this request. And I think I had missed the applying the permissions or using admin consent for the permissions, hence why it wasn't working or something like that. It was interesting though, because I had that exact same error message in my blog. So when I started looking for the answer, my blog post popped up. I was like, oh, right, I missed this step. So it's nice to be able to go back and fix your own mistakes by knowing that you already fixed your own mistakes in the past.
So what's the point of validating the audience?
Can't remember. You said we should do it.
Hey, I should have to come and talk to my kids then. Well, no, so access tokens are really good for whoever they're granted for, right? If you get an access token and the audience in the token, which is who it was issued for, if it doesn't match, then it's probably not for you, and you should not accept it. So per the spec, you should not accept an access token that does not have a valid audience, right? And in our system, in Azure AD, the audiences are your client ID, of course, which is your app ID. They can also be your app ID URIs. So it's possible that you could also have different values depending on your configuration. So
Cool. Right. So we have the code. Now the question is, do we use the same function and just add the two here, or do we do a clean slate and create a new one, and it's nicer, so we have like just the stuff that we need?
Well, so our function is going to check your token and then send you back some data from Cosmos, right?
Yep.
So what? I mean, we could maybe make that could probably even be a static class, right?
Well, this one becomes a static class inside your main function. So if we take as an example this one, we create that we have a static token validator. So it gets reused every time you hit the function.
Okay.
And we validate in fact, for this one, I was passing it to the graph client because no, I'm using the token validator here to validate. And then if the claims principal is not null, then I'm instantiating a graph client and do whatever.
Okay, that's cool.
We can tidy up this code here, but this was go on.
Well, either one would be fine. Like we do it this way, or if you want to inject it with we don't have a startup and all that configured, so probably not worth the extra effort right now, right?
Also, code injection in Azure Functions, I've always felt a little bit meh for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There are pros and cons. I think especially if you're bringing over code from a different project, it's
it's
there makes it much easier. And And I think there's some neat things you can do with it. But
Yep.
I think one of the things we hear all the time is, oh, we don't have any portability, blah blah blah, with functions. You're so locked in. People say that about AWS Lambda and like TCP's. What is it, Cloud Run, or Cloud Functions? We hear a lot that it's lock in and it's this and that, but the less that your function itself is doing, and the more that code you've abstracted away, makes it more portable, right? I mean,
yeah,
the function becomes a host at that point, and so yeah, there's some plumbing you get, and there's some plumbing you get for free, like bindings and things. But if you move the bulk of your business logic into or out
class
of your
library.
function
Yep.
directly,
Yep.
I think it does give you some portability, and you're rewriting 3% of your code to go and move it to a web app running an IIS or on a totally different server or whatever.
Indeed.
So
Yeah.
anyway, sorry.
I mean, we can do a new function and then create a class library that has the necessary code, and then we just show in the function how that
No.
class.
We don't have to worry about it. I was just saying, like, for purposes of discussion, I guess we don't have to worry about it. Let's just use the one you got.
Okay.
Because you already got
Well,
this
this one
token
has
validator.
a few more things, but it's fine, right?
Okay.
We can ignore the other one. So here we just need to create a new function. In fact, we'll need two things. One is to do the token validation, and one will be to speak to Cosmos DB. So we will need, what we will need? I think we need a Cosmos DB extension.
Yeah.
Do we need a Cosmos DB NuGet package?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's already included in the runtime, I think. I think it's because it's a trigger. I think it actually registers as a part of the runtime.
I thought you had to register them independently, but maybe not. Go to overview. Go to overview for this one. It should tell us if we need a package or not.
Installing the NuGet package.
All right. So what is this? Webjobs.extensions. Yeah.
So there you go. Add that one.
All right. BRB. I'll use the restroom.
Go for it. I will continue streaming by myself. We're saving this one here, and you'll notice that down at the bottom, Visual Studio Code is clever enough to say, do you want to restore the dependency? So we don't have to do .NET restore. It will go and do it for us, which is fantastic. Just makes our life easier. So what we want to do now is, with that in place, we want to go and create a new function. We can add a new file. Say get. Oh yeah. Just for our benefit, if I go back to, you know what, I need a new instance of, in private window, Azure portal.azure.com. We'll need to log in with a different user because I have created some data on a Cosmos DB database. I just wanted to show you how this works. I don't even remember what I have here. Oh God, what is my password? Maybe I should use my smart card. This works? Let's find out. I can't remember my my password because I haven't used it in forever. And we'll take us in. Perfect. That's Microsoft security protecting us from being silly. Okay, so I have a Cosmos DB database. I created a sample Cosmos DB database, and I think I grabbed the data from somebody was kind enough to put some sample data into GitHub. So if you go into Azure samples, you'll find a whole lot of free samples that span a lot of different things. And one of that was actually having sample data for our Cosmos DB database. So here I have, let's go for Cosmos. Nope, that's the wrong instance. So we're going to go into here. And if I say Azure Function Demo, we go into our Data Explorer. I create a collection called volcano list because we're storing volcanoes. And here I have volcanoes, and you can see all the items. In fact, you can run a query. You can see all the items, and what we have here as this item reflects to one of the items in the sample data with some additional metadata that Cosmos DB uses to tag that information. And we're using the ID as the key when I create the collection. Maybe we can demo how you can create sample data at some later time, but if you ever want to upload data and have a JSON file, you can automatically do that. So our Cosmos DB data is here. In fact, I was looking today, and they added the ability to add an Azure function automatically into that, although it doesn't have the right bindings because I don't have an input binding that triggers every time a change takes place. You might want to add that at a later time. But it's nice that we have tight coupling or integration between Cosmos DB and Azure Functions. You can quickly go back and forth. So we have the data here. We'll need we need a connection string to find that. I haven't done it in forever. Should be in the properties somewhere. I wonder if I can search for a connection. Oh, there you go. Private endpoint connections, and then there are keys. Okay, so that's probably the connection string, or we can grab that connection string. You can look at that now. I mean, I'll be deleting that later, but for you, if you want to have a look, and so be it. So I need to go and add that into our settings. So functions, when you develop locally, they have two different settings file, the host.json that defines how the function should run, time much, and what have you. And then there's a local settings.json, which allows us to store some information. And in here, I want to add the command point. So that should be, obviously, it's a JSON, so we need quotes. It should be connection. So Cosmos DB connection. And I can't even type. And then here, again, some quotes to make it nice and good. So, yep, there needs to be a column. There you go, because we will need to add that into our binding. So have we created a, no, how are we gonna name this? This one, we're gonna name the new function. Did I create a, yeah, rename that one. Rename to get all volcanoes. What is that? Is it ES? I think that's the one. .cs. And that's an empty one, so we need to copy some basic information here. In fact, no, let's, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the code that we found in the sample. So here, if we go back to the docs, which was here.
Tooling that does this for you?
Yeah, there's I think if you use, if you use the CLI, it will do it for you.
I think you can. I know there was one for VS Code too, where it would just sort of prompt you with some questions like what language, what trigger, what.
Yeah, the CLI. If you go into which one are we working on? Func with auth. That's the one. So if I do func function, if you click this one, it will give you, yeah.
Go back to VS Code and do Control-Shift-P and type in function. There you go. Let's see, create function.
Yeah, but that trigger will be wrong. Fine. I will load it.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Because it will be listening to changes.
Oh, right. Yeah. What's the trigger, though? It's an HTTP trigger, is it not?
Correct. Cosmos. So we want to name that get all volcanoes. What will happen now if we have a name conflict?
Oh, yeah. Well, this one's set to be a Cosmos trigger anyway. Don't you want to use an HTTP one?
As in what? Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, that's a good point. Create function. It needs to be an HTTP function trigger with an additional connection there. So that would be get all volcanoes. We don't have a namespace.
Look in your CS proj.
Yeah, I don't have a namespace. It's all wild, wild west. I'm gonna add it for now, and then I'll remove it. Anonymous. Creating the HTTP trigger. There you go. So for now, I'm just gonna remove that one. And we have the function. We have the bare bones of the function, but we need to fix a few things. So the nice thing is that we don't have any authorization level here because we are actually going to use the token validation logic that we already have. Yeah. It's an HTTP accept get. I don't think we should accept post, but fine. For now, we'll leave it there. And now we need to go back to the docs to add that nice feature here. See, I think that document client is part. Oh, I shouldn't have added the NuGet package. I wonder what would happen if I didn't have the NuGet package there. I think it expects to. Yeah. So if you want to resolve quickly, you can either right click. You can click on this one. Where did I go? There. Or you can do control dot. And it will pop up the IntelliSense, and it says you need to add this reference. So we have the document client now, which allows us to do what we want to do. Let's ignore this for now. Let's say, volcano name. Okay. Because we're looking for volcanoes, and then we need to make a new query. Although that's the what code did I copy? I don't think that's the right one. Oh, there you go. We want this, right? So we're grabbing the what do we have? Similar code here, but let's see. So we have the search term that's there. Actually, that should be volcano name. And we need to fix this one, right? So database name is, where's my Cosmos DB? Oh no, wrong, different window. So the database name should be volcano list. What an amazing name. There. Although I wonder if that's the collection. No, it must be the.
I think the collection is volcano. I think it was called volcano.
Yeah. I don't know if I should pluralize though, like volcanoes or volcano. Oh, did it pick this up from my settings or did I name it?
I think you named it the same.
Close, but not the same. So I fixed it now. So there you go. Okay. So going back to our codes, we have the, what is it complaining? We'll fix that later. So we have the database name, the collection name, the connection string, the client, and then here we need to, to do item. Oh, it expects an object that has the JSON information. Now, if we were in Visual Studio, in the full Visual Studio, we could grab the JSON from our sample and create a class. So we could see it, so we don't have to manually go and create it. Have you ever done it? Mm-mm. No. Right.
I don't think so.
Let's grab the JSON. So we will cheat a little bit. What we're going to do is let's Control A. Yes, it's slow to respond. And I'm going to spin up Visual Studio. I'm using 2019 preview, and it will probably prompt me for an update. But I'm going to quickly create a console app, right? Only to be able to just to cheat and create a class console. C#, next. We don't really care about that right now. I just want to get a class that will help us achieve our goals.
Could you do it? Could you do it with like C# Interactive, or is the tooling in Visual Studio directly?
No, it's tooling inside Visual Studio. So if I let me just minimize that. So if I create a new class, anything, add class, test. Right. Let me just make this bigger so everybody can see it. Although the tooling is not in the right. So if you go into edit, then paste special and paste JSON. You didn't know?
I've never used that. Oh my God, that's nice.
It's all done.
Awesome.
So I don't have to worry about anything else. Oh my God, that's a lot of.
Wow.
Whoa. Did I have that much information inside my JSON here?
Looks like it. I mean, it was like 25,000 lines or something.
So maybe, you know what? Maybe I will.
Just take one of them.
Yeah, I will take just the first one because it seems that this is all we need. Or it should be an array of these. I don't know.
Well, you don't need the array definition though, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Not for this one.
A single item. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it will be a list of items like this. So here it should be I don't know if you can do paste special here. No, you have to go into edit, and then it's paste special, and you can do it from XML as well. Useful lesson here.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, I had no idea. That's cool.
And then you name this one just like a volcano, right?
I think so. Yeah.
There you go.
Cool. All right.
And we copy this. We can now close Visual Studio because we don't need it anymore. And we can come back into our. So we add it as a separate file?
If it's only in this file, maybe it's okay.
Let's keep it clean. There you go. So we have the class ready. So if I go back into my code now, all I have to do is just change this to a volcano.
Okay.
Look at that IntelliSense at its best. Although I think I have a namespace here. Oh, I don't. Perfect. And this one is probably missing a reference. There you go. Link. So technically, what is missing here? Okay.
So what field are you going to search on?
I think we're searching on name.
Okay. And then
I would say contains. We could do contains. We can do case insensitive search. Can you do? Let me see. Does it do? There you go. String comparison. Current culture ignore case. So we don't have to worry about uppercase, lowercase. Now the response message is not right. What is the problem here? Oh, we don't have a response message because we want to return a new OK result, and that should be the. Oh, we need to execute the query, don't we?
Yeah, and the other thing is we we probably want to parameterize it too because it's coming with we're getting untrusted input, you know.
Oh, who cares about input validation? Security afterthought, right? We should always care about it after the fact. I'm just messing.
I think the link provider does it for you though.
I actually, I mean, it would be nice if we have an allow list, or does it parameterize it as you go? It seems a little bit.
I think when you're using link, it does because it's It's generating the query for you, but we should probably confirm that just to make sure.
So that's an interesting conundrum here. Like, look, it returns an OK result, but the results are coming outside the.
No. It's just logging it. That's all that example's doing. It's probably not the best example. But that's okay. Go back to your.
Wait a minute. So you have the query. You need to execute async, right? So wow. Okay. So one thing we need to grab that one.
Yeah, that whole you need that whole while block.
You need the whole while block?
Yeah, because if you have more than 1,000 in there, you'll want to make sure if you're trying to get all of them, and then we can add those to our own list or whatever, and then return them back.
Okay, let's var this. So that should be yeah. So we need what we're gonna do here is I'm going to create a.
We probably don't need to create it yet. I'd create it right above where we are, and that way, if for whatever reason we don't get through validation or anything else, then we're not creating extra things we don't need.
Yeah, so here we'll do our data or result equals new list of what the hell? Sometimes, oh yeah, because if you don't have the namespace, it just goes, this is the closest I can get to whatever. Or var volcano here, because we know we're expecting a volcano. And then this should be a list of volcanoes. There you go.
Okay. I think it's using system.generic, collections.generic, yeah.
And then here we will do result.add another volcano. And then we will do an OK.
Just return the result.
Yep.
And then we'll get an array of them back.
However, we want to do a little bit of now. This one just returns everything. There's no code. There's no token validation here.
Yeah.
So I would probably, just to keep things clean, I would. No, this is wrong. Create document collection URI? No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want that, right? Yeah. Because that's a document object.
Yeah, that's just a URI to your collection.
List. And then we have volcanoes.
Although I don't think you well, yeah, I guess you do need it because you've got to create the URI. So yeah.
Yeah, it goes in here, right? So
yeah, I think I thought a lot of this had changed in the latest Cosmos SDK, but maybe not. But whatever, it's fine.
Well, we got the latest, and I don't see anything complaining here. Should we look into that just in case there's a better way to do it?
No, I mean, because some of it might depend on what the function binding is expecting too. I thought the Cosmos had a new, kind of a totally different new SDK out, but
this document was updated in February 24th, so that's 3 months old.
Let's see. So there was one that came out that was like the V4 version, I thought. Well, not the V4, but it was like the V4 SDK, they called it. So V4 used. Let's see.
I'm gonna refactor this a little bit to create a new function here, a new method.
To do what?
Like there was a lot of code inside the main function.
You need task after async.
Yes. In my mind, I had already typed task, but thank you for the correction. I need no, it's fine. So that's the client. Where am I creating the client? Where's the client? Oh, that's been passed in. So I need to pass a document client. And I need to pass the search term. And oh, it's lowercase. I think that should be it.
So
this one should.
log.
Yeah, I need a log. I need a log. Fine. Log. And that should return. So that's returning, which means that here we can just say var result equals get all volcano data. That should be awaitable. And pass the client search term and log. However, so if the search term that is passed in is null or empty, then we say not found result.
Okay.
It's a little bit stupid because if you don't pass it, then we don't find it. So maybe a different result here to say the other thing.
No, I mean I think that works, right? You get if you search for blank, then you get a 404, right?
Fair enough.
Not
Then
found.
we also, so here we need to do obviously. Should we do the token validation here? Or would you do it alt and arrow down, it moves the code? So alt arrow up, alt arrow down, or should we do it here?
Well,
like, is there any point of searching the URL parameters if you don't have permission to execute this method? I think you should get a result say back saying 403, you're not allowed to execute this.
Yeah, I think that's probably a 401, not unauthorized, right? Like a 401 if your token's bad, and a 403 if your role doesn't have the right permissions.
Okay, so
because 403 says something is here.
Okay.
401 says we're not telling you anything until you tell us who you are, right?
Exactly. So we need a config here. Okay, I'm gonna grab this one, put it up here, but we don't need the graph client. We're not playing with graph this time, and we need to resolve this one here. Let me just see what else they have in my code here. What do we do with? Yeah, we need the context, execution context. And by the way, for like to show you why we need this one, if we go to, if we go here and go to definition, you'll notice that we pass the context because it's used when we pull the config file out. Where am I doing that? Get job from header. Where am I doing that?
Yeah, we don't need it.
No, I think it was in the, let's see. Maybe we don't need it. 4 references. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ha! We don't need it.
Even better.
It's as I was reflecting. So one of the things that happened is that we call, I think we need it here because here we load the, no, where do we need it?
I think it's,
or maybe.
Is it because you're trying to set the thread context to the principal?
No, it was for pulling the local settings.config information.
Oh, right.
So depending on where you're running, it will go and pull the. That's a bit weird.
It looks like you're doing. Oh no, you're doing OID config. That's the configuration manager for.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't need to pass it anymore because in this. I need to grab this one. So I need to get the context for not for the. You messing with your microphone right now? Like.
No, I don't do anything.
Oh, you were not?
No, I'm
Interesting.
sitting here.
Something did just like so context, execution context. So it's already there, and then down here I need to create another or paste that method. No. So what we're doing here is we say set the base path to the context where it executes, because you could be inside a function, you could be somewhere else, and then we also want to add the JSON file and read from it. If you're running in production, this will, because it's optional, it will try to load it. If it doesn't find it, then it will move on to the next one. Then it looks at the environmental variables. So when you run in production, if you're using the application settings for the function app, then this is where it's going to pull up the additional information you need. Then it builds it up and returns that. So, and we have a section inside our local settings to JSON, which is Azure AD. And then you can use this one. I mean, the code here pulls that information into the config. Actually, see, I need the whole thing, not just get configuration settings. Because this one, it will only attend the Azure AD section. Do I need anything else? I probably don't need anything else. Not at least because the settings for the Cosmos DB connection will already be passed as part of the trigger. So we're okay. We don't need all the config. But if you have more settings that are not just Azure AD, then you can omit this one and then the whole config here. Why is it complaining again? It's not used anywhere. That's going to say, right? Cannot declare instance. Oh, yeah. Okay. So private static. There you go. Happy now? Let's call this one with the execution code as one of the first steps. It must be painful for you, John, to see me coding now. He can probably be 10 times faster than me. Okay, so we get the config. We have the context. We execute here. So we need to add the authentication. I mean, we can skip the authentication for now and maybe test that this is working without authentication, just to have some proof that, you know,
That's probably a good
things
idea,
are.
yeah. Run it locally, make sure everything is what you expect it to be, right?
Exactly. So if you, let's go back to the file. If you notice that the launch.json, we can actually launch this from here directly. So we can run an Azure function from inside VS Code and debug, in fact, which is lovely. So extensions, sorry, launch. If I go back to my debug, it will launch it for us. It will build it and launch it. Azure Web Storage connection specified is the local. Oh, yeah, okay. So if you are running locally, you need to have your local storage emulator running. So let's cancel this one. Come here, and then you say storage emulator, and we kick it off. This will start up our local emulator for storage. If you don't want to test locally, you can test against a storage account in Azure. And same for Cosmos DB. I just remember because JP, you mentioned as we're starting, do you have the storage emulator local? I don't have it, but there's a Cosmos DB emulator that runs locally, so you don't have to spend money if you're testing against a Cosmos DB instance that runs on Azure, because that will spin up some cost. So if you want to test locally and run hundreds of queries, then you can use the emulator, even for Cosmos DB. So this one is running. You can close that now. And thank you for reminding me that I did not start my emulator. So now we shouldn't get that warning again. Let's see. And it should come up with 4 functions available to us, because we have 4 functions in our code. Look at that, or 3. Do I have 3 or should be 4? Oh, just 3. Interesting. So it's running locally on get all volcanoes here. Should we do Postman or should we use? Let's do a new one.
Whichever. I mean, you're already here. Might as well, right?
Yep. Go 500 error message. So wonder what happened there. Usually that throws an exception. Okay. Failed. Oh, exception binding parameter client. Value cannot be null. Okay, why was it null? Why, John? Oh, why? Why was it null? So you were here.
You got your setting is called Cosmos DB connection, right?
This one? Yep. Let's validate that to make sure that I haven't missed that. So local settings.json, Cosmos DB connection.
And that's right. That's the name of your Cosmos database?
Oh, wait a minute. That's the Cosmos database name. See, I told you this was not right. Let's go back here. Let's stop debugging. Disconnect. So here, database name is that one, right?
Well, no.
Is it?
It's the name of the instance, right? Like it's the URL that you created. Go back to the portal. We can get out of there.
Okay. That's not okay. Let me go back to the portal with our Cosmos DB instance. So here, where?
Okay, so Volcano list is our collection.
Let me see. Will we go into this collection somewhere here, or is it just there? Okay, Dead Explorer. We have a container.
I think it is. It's AD function demo, so it should be okay.
So the database is AZ. What are you thinking about?
So your database is. Sorry. Go back to your overview.
Overview in the docs?
In the functions. Or, sorry, in the portal.
In the portal. Okay, yeah.
For your Cosmos DB. So your container is Volcano and your database is Volcano list.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we have in ours?
So oh yeah, there you go. I saw that. It's down here. So for ours, we have database name, Volcano list.
And the collection is name, Volcano. So that's all. Volcano. That all looks correct.
Okay.
And your local settings has Cosmos DB connection, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, we can debug, right? That's the whole point now. So let's put a breakpoint here and see what happens.
Well, that's saying it can't even create the client to push it in the signature as a parameter.
Oh, you think it failed before it even executed that as part of the binding?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Let's run it again and see.
Let's run it again and see. And we have a breakpoint now. So if it doesn't get the breakpoint, it means that it didn't even execute there. So you're right. And let's bring up Postman back up. And let's try it again. Ooh, you're right.
So what's in the, let's go back to your log.
Executing, blah.
Auth key or resource token. I wonder if it is expecting a different kind of connection string, although that looks like a pretty default connection string.
Yes. I wonder if it's like if you go back into this one and you go into, where was that connection string? Where is it?
Keys.
Yes, because that makes so much sense. I wonder if we need to use this. All right, so we have this one, right? Do we need to use maybe this one in the key, or?
Well, hang on. You don't have. You know what? I do remember. It's been a while. I think the key and the URI are separate.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hang on.
Oh, you mean in the settings?
Yeah.
You know what?
Maybe not though. Let me check.
Let me look at my blog post. I've done something in the past with storage, and I remember there was a bit of a jiggery poker there. That's like the format was always different, and I spent half an hour trying to figure it out. So let me see if I can see much storage Azure.
You might need a count endpoint at the beginning of it.
Or you might need to emit HTTPS or something like that. Can't remember. Let me see. Dependencies. No, there should be some config setting somewhere about storage. Yeah, not put it anywhere.
Framework. I got some.
Project.
Let me go to my GitHub. I'm sure I've got.
Oh, that's because I did not develop that locally. I developed that. Maybe here. I've done a lot of function blogs. There you go. Default endpoint. You know what?
It's storage.
I need to. Yeah, I think we need to add the account endpoint.
Yeah, maybe that's what's missing.
That one. So yeah, I've told you it gets me all the time. So let's go and try to fix it. Hopefully that's the one. There were no quotes around that, right? Let me see. Nope, just ready. Okay, let's try it now. I hate that my VM does not take the full height of the screen. It's like slightly bigger than the height of my screen. Come on. Oh, let me disconnect. And reconnect. And I think that should fix it. And then we need to add the authorization and authentication on that. And we're got a home run. Right. 404.
Hey,
we're getting close.
Okay, well, because you didn't pass in a search term.
Indeed. All right, let's find let's find the volcano name. What do we have here? Row. Acamarachi in Chile. Apparently, there's quite a few volcanoes out there. Did you even know that? Check out all the volcanoes that are in the world. I did not even know that we have that many. Scary. Maybe you can use our function endpoint to discover how many.
Yeah, you should pull that into Power BI and map it.
Yeah. Volcano name, right? Volcano name equals that. Oh, we got a breakpoint.
All right. So at least we got our client. That's good.
Let it rip. See what happens. We go back.
Nice.
I think it came back.
Cool. So now we just have to find it. What's our query look like? Maybe our query isn't doing something correctly.
You mean the query down here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how should we put it on here? It says volcano name contains should be equals.
What's in your document collection right now? Are all those volcanoes in your database?
There should be, although there were some errors when I was importing, so maybe they're not.
Go to your data explorer. Let's find one that's in there that way. You're gonna have to go reset all these keys after we're done.
Should be fine.
But it's good. I got some notes of like stuff that we should prepare before we do it the next time. You know what I mean?
What do you got? Name?
I wouldn't even do that. Just do a select star or top 10 or something.
Okay, and then what?
And then click one. And go grab that name.
Oh, and try that name?
Yeah. That way we know it's one that's in your database.
What do you do there? Oh, there will be a breakpoint in the code. Oh, has more results, so that's the results. Maybe the one that we looked for was not there.
That's kind of what I'm wondering. All
Let's
right.
see.
So
Postman says no. Are we doing the result, new list, query, result to add volcano? I'm curious now. Are we even adding it?
oh, wait a minute. Are we not adding it to the result? Oh, no, we are adding it to the result.
That's what I'm saying. Just remove that breakpoint from here. We know that we're coming in here. Oh. So, wait a minute.
No, that should be fine.
Well, it didn't come back. It didn't add it to the volcano. So it seems that it's empty.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Well, we can use the debug console to test the theory. So if I come back into Postman and send a new query, send, should put a breakpoint here, and I can come here and do that. I wonder if it's going to execute. The wait operator can only be used in an async method.
Well, you're interactive as an async, so
Fine. Get a waiter dot get result or something. Or should I do just dot result?
just
And be a
result,
savage.
yeah.
Savage. It requires alternates.
We'll do this. Just set query
Step
execute next async to a variable right above our for each, and then for each through that.
Oh, gotcha. Just closing this one. And here, say our data equals await dot, sorry, query dot execute async. Execute next async. Okay.
And then
If data is not null.
Data.any.
If data.any.
Yeah.
If data any. And then,
and then you can do an add range.
Ooh. Haven't done add range in a while. Result dot add range data. Oh, wait a minute.
May not be the right type.
The to list.
Yeah. Because it's a typed query, so I don't know why it's.
Collections list dynamic to
I
enumerable.
I don't know why it's doing the list of dynamic though, because our document query is typed.
Well, we can do volcano. The response dynamic does not contain definition for to list.
I think there's a.
So
there's a. You know what? Just I wouldn't even worry about that. Just take out 61 through 65, and let's see what's in our variable once we. Let's see what's in there once we get our data.
Wait, we'll just return an empty result for now. We'll just debug it.
I just leave that because we know it doesn't work. So, but it doesn't hurt if it stays.
Broken code is broken code, so we should be able to see what is inside data when we execute. Cool. It's all the little things. I think we're still debugging. No. God damn. Okay. Back to our Postman. Once we have the function up and running. I'm also curious why I only get 3 and not 4. Send. Breakpoint hit. What do we have in data? Data spinning.
Oh, is it? Scroll down a little bit.
Scroll down to the data here.
Yeah, is it? No, there's no. Let me look. Hang on.
Quench charge 2.25. Why are you doing to
Oh,
me? DB?
you know why? It's because we're using var. Change var to
No, you're messing with me.
no, not the yeah. Change it to change it
No,
instead of
that's
var
not what it
volcano. Well,
is.
because they're dynamic, right? And unless you explicitly say what a dynamic is, it keeps it as
Okay.
dynamic. So just
So this returns what? IEnumerable blah. Oh, task free dynamic.
do change
So
instead of for each var volcano, just do for each volcano. Yeah,
we also need to change this one.
I just get rid of that one for the moment. Just
Okay.
comment it out at least.
Would that be a list volcano or IEnumerable volcano if we were to
Yeah, it
use our approach?
should be IEnumerable volcano, but all right, let's run it.
Let's run it.
I think I feel like this is still the V3 API for or V3 SDK for Cosmos, and I think some of that's changed in the V4 one, but the V4 one's been out for a while.
Interesting.
But whatever, it's fine. Okay.
Oh, it executed. It never went into the here. So we didn't get a breakpoint, and that should be empty.
Oh, the whole thing executed? Oh, I guess it did.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's uncomment your other one and give it IEnumerable of whatever. I'm going to pull up some old code I've got with this in here. Let's see.
Let's see why it's complaining. It says execute the query retrieves the cannot convert feed response dynamic to IEnumerable. An explicit conversion exists. So you're missing a cast.
All right, hang on.
As
Hang on. I have to go. Let me go dig in. I know I've got this. I know I got this somewhere.
let's dig out some old code. What was it like? Cosmos DB execute query async. Is it execute query async? Oh, execute next async. Interesting. Okay. I document query. Do they have an example? Of course they don't have an example. Why would they have an example? It'll make our life so much easier. Feed response dynamic.
Yeah, I've got. Oh, do execute next async as T of T.
You mean like this?
Yep, of volcano.
Because I think that's what I had in the docs.
All right, run that. Let's hit that breakpoint. See if we get any data loaded in there. Because yeah, I mean the code I've got in mine is while results dot has more results. I'm adding a range of execute next async T. So I mean that should work.
So ideally, data here should have the correct.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what it returns a dynamic.
But even then, we should still be getting data. But whatever.
Correct. Come on, breakpoint. There you go. Data should have 0, I think. 0.
Why do we have 0? Does the contains not work, or is the where not working? Hang on.
Content location should be right. Database.
Is there something weird about our class where it's not matching?
No, is there a way to see incoming requests inside Cosmos DB and see what gets executed against it? Like logs? No, that would be the logs of key there.
I think there's a way to see it on the object, on the query object. So we've got, let's see, create a document query of T, collection URI, where query as document query, right?
Total requests. It would be nice if we could show us some logs. Yeah, sorry, in the code. Yeah, we're
Right,
here.
so-
Execute the next async as volcano.
So we've got a document query, create document query of volcano to the collection URI where the query p.volcano name contains search term. Search term shows up in your code or in your log, so that's there.
Yeah.
Check that document collection URI. Make sure that those two strings are in the right spaces.
Yeah, content location is volcano list and collections is volcano.
Okay.
So DB is collection list, and then collection is volcano.
Okay.
Seems to be right.
So where the hell is your data? It's very strange.
Also, it doesn't throw not found. I mean, if it was the wrong collection, it would not just say you blow up like collection not found or something else.
Yeah, because you wouldn't get a document charge out of that. Oh, there's your query. Look under the query object in your variables pane over on the left.
Yep. Oh, that one. Select value root from root where contains what? What? Why does it say value root from root?
Yeah, that doesn't seem. That does not seem correct.
Hang
on.
Oh, it says maybe that's a replace because it has element type volcano, and then the expression is. Oh, it will give us the expression. Can we execute that one?
No, I don't think so.
Dude, did you see what it's doing? Volcano name contains value, get all volcanoes, something, something. I mean, it might be too small for you to see, but it's a bit weird.
So that's just the...
Oh, it's the almost like the IL for the parameter that we're passing.
Try an ordinal ignore case.
Here, okay.
Yeah, instead of current culture, not that should really matter.
Or maybe we do an equals rather than contains, and then we'll do ordinal.
I don't know if those query operators work there.
What are you thinking about? Oh, you mean you don't think the string comparison is working?
No. I don't know if equals.
Well, we'll find out very quickly.
I don't know if equals is the right one there.
I'm gonna kick it off while you're searching and see what happens. Dun, dun, dun. Show me the money. Dude, we need to record that one for your what's that little box that you have with the buttons so we can that threw up. Threw up an error message. Exception while executing function equals not supported.
I think you need like p.volcano name equals search term.
But then you can't do ordinal case or string.
Well, I think you can do string. Is it string dot equals? Like, because dot equals is a special. It's on the base object.
Same on u.net.
Let's just do that for the moment.
Yeah, I mean we're passing the full name, so it should work. There you go. Start it. It's executing. It's not throwing. It's empty. Oh, what did it
up again?
500 error message. What was the error message now?
Oh, cross partition.
It's required but disabled.
Yeah, you'll have to change that on your.
Database?
You'll have to change that on the client. I believe there's a client to allow cross partition.
So we search by ID?
You can search by ID, although without a partition key, you'll still. What are the partition keys of your data? Do you know?
Just ID.
Oh yeah. Okay. Then yeah, these will all be cross partitioned. So, in your query, that's okay. We can do it from here. Put a comma after collection URI. fit line 53 at the very end.
Comma. Okay.
I'm sorry. We're going to add a second parameter. Do a new feed options. And curly brace, enable cross partition query equals true. Yep. Okay.
Anything else? Just that?
Nope, that's just that. Close paren. Yep. All right. Let's run that.
Run again?
Yep. I mean, if we've only got 25,000 volcanoes, they should probably all be in the same position anyway.
Well, please tell me we don't have more than 25,000 locations that I'm not aware of, because that would be scary. What did you learn today at work, Gods? I learned that we have too many volcanoes around.
25,562 volcanoes, or whatever the number was. Far too
many.
Right,
what's in the data? What is in the data?
Okay.
Data. Activity ID. Oh, come on. Count 0.
Well, I wonder if it just hasn't executed yet. Put a .toList at the end of it.
Data.toList?
Yeah, because if it's just enumerable, it probably hasn't executed yet.
Count 0. How weird is that?
It doesn't seem right. This seems far more finicky than the last time I'd used this. So creating a document query with a collection link where blah equals blah as enumerable. Well, that one's as enumerable, but.
And there's no way to check in the Cosmos DB to see which queries have come in? Is that a log
I think there's a way to enable that logging. You can look at the logs. Man, look at Query Explorer.
Oh, yeah.
And just try taking your, that one that query goes. Select star from
here.
root or whatever it was.
Which query?
Yeah, select value from root where root volcano name equals fdera. Yeah, take that.
Let's take that and see what happens. Obviously, we need to remove the quotes. Should I leave the...
I don't think you need to escape them here. But I do think you need quotes. I just don't think they need to be escaped.
What about the root stuff?
Just leave that for now, because I think that's just taking, that's just like aliasing the value. Take those slashes out of the volcano name, though, because we don't need to escape those. Okay. All right.
Nothing.
Wait, what's the name of your field? I don't think it's volcano name. I think it's volcano space name.
Oh.
There you go.
Wait a minute.
That would be why, because our JSON
problem is
because the Visual Studio JSON to class thing turned it into a.
Yeah, but nobody puts stupid spaces in JSON. I mean, there should be no spaces in field names, right? Technically, that's not valid.
Apparently, the volcano list does. So, but that's okay.
I want to try. Right. There's one easy way to fix that is we blitz the volcano data from the table, and then we fix the data in the JSON and test the JSON file, and we upload it again.
The other option is, I believe there are some attributes we can use to mark the serialized name in our class, and then we don't have to worry about touching the raw data itself. Hang on a second.
Because who would mess with the raw data in the database, right? I mean,
Right.
technically, if you jump on a project that is already using data and one of the columns says species, then you're right. You can't really go and change the data. So let's fix it in the code. Are you trying to find out where that attribute is?
Yep. I think actually you might be able to use well, hang on.
Are you looking somewhere in the Cosmos DB database or in plain old .NET?
The internet.
Okay. Oh my God, my blog has broken links.
I'm just looking to see if there are any. At one point, I thought you could use either the Newtonsoft JSON property attributes or the system. I can't remember them. Hang on.
Space name. Yeah, that's the thing. It's gonna be super ambiguous. Well, if we try the ID, then that would work, but nobody knows the ID.
Try JSON property, like the old Newtonsoft one, JSON property, and then put the name in there. Yeah, what is it?
Is it open curly bracket like this?
Yeah, volcano space name, and then you'll need a using Newtonsoft.json at the top.
Which is part of the Azure Functions runtime, so you don't need to explicitly declare that into your packages. So if you look into here, you'll notice that we don't have a reference to use of the JSON because it's in the runtime. Maybe it will move into the system.json.web soon. Once we right, take it for a spin and see what happens. Hey, we learned something today. I didn't know there was a query analyzer inside Cosmos DB. That was great.
I think it said it's been deprecated in favor of Query Explorer now, but.
Oh really? But you can run the Query Explorer, or can you? Maybe you can. We didn't realize. Okay, so that's there. The function has spun up. So send. It'll be a breakpoint.
Okay.
Let's check the data. No, I did not want to do that. Hey, Con 1.
Oh, cool.
I mean, it will execute again now.
Yeah, but that's okay. All
We're
right.
adding
Yay,
to the list. Hey.
Boy, it's a good thing we tested this first, because otherwise we would have been like, what's wrong with our code?
Yeah, let me just continue executing and then go back to our postman to see the results. Yeah, I mean, the more components that you add into your code, then you need to test for more things. Somebody's going to go and say, well, if you use test-driven development at TDD, then this wouldn't have happened. You don't have to worry about that. But to them, I say each to their own. TDD has its value sometimes, but okay, we got data now.
All right.
We need to do the fun bit.
No,
which is
validator. Oh wait, scroll back down.
What do you want?
You deleted that other execution, right?
No, it's still there. So do we want to delete this one? No, wait. What do I want to? We want to delete this one.
Yeah, we don't need that one. All right.
We're cooking. Okay, so what do we have next? Authentication authorization.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. So we already have the code that looks into the authentication or validating the token, which is the token validator. And I think we have a static here. There you go. So to use it, we need to do something like this. And also we need to fix the fact that we don't need the context anymore. So maybe later we can go back and retrofit that. Now here, it has already config. We already have that call. So we need to remove it from the duplication. So the token validator will validate our token and brings back the claims principal, which has all the permissions, which means that now we can't really test it again until we authenticate. To do that, we need to configure our postman. Let's see. We can return. It'll be a 404 or 403. 403. Sorry, 404 is not found. There you go. I don't want it. Yeah, I don't want that anymore. So what we're doing here is we're getting the config settings for Azure AD, which is in our local settings.json. So we can go and validate the token, the JWT token, against Azure AD. And that should return back a claims principal, which will have all the claims that we want to use for our code. The claims there will also include the roles that the user has. So if you remember back in our Azure AD config, we did configure the permissions for the API, but we will be using the function client role. So if we go back here, we'll need to go here to the app registration because we need to grab the, we already have the, let's go and grab in the overview. I want that, no. And here we'll say function client. And here we will copy the application ID. We got it. Postman. New methods. Hey, you're back. Are you back? What do you do? Okay. Console. Don't save. Okay, close it. Don't save. There you go. Okay. New query. Okay, so here we need to go into authorization. We need to say we want to use OAuth2, and then we need to say get new access token. Leave it as that. Callback. Oh, wait a minute. I thought it was pre-populating with what we needed. Bird token. Ooh. We don't have. Is it OAuth2, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, back a second. I thought it was pre-populating the callback URL.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't have to configure yourself?
I think if you do authorize using browser, it does.
Oh, no, it's
but
different.
That's not the same one. That's not the same one anyway.
Correct. So let me come back here to authentication. Interesting, because I think it's somewhere in the docs that you need to get it from. Because I remember there, and then auth URL. Now to get these, we go back into our overview. Oh no, it's back. It's up here, endpoints. What was the first one I asked for?
Authorization.
Authorization URL. So that will be authorization endpoints.
First one.
Oh, sorry, V1. Fine. This should hide the V1 stuff and go for V2 only. Considering that we want people to use the V2, I think it makes more sense to make them like, you need to explicitly go and ask for these things. So token endpoint here. You wanna, I mean, it's fine. I'm gonna roll the keys anyway, so don't sweat it.
Yeah.
And I think we should do that as a practice. People may want to see what they look like. So as a standard practice, I can just, I can roll them at the end of these. Now scope, scope will be access.
Fully qualified scope though.
Yeah, fine.
Which You gave it a friendly name. I seem to remember it was like function API something.
Function API demo.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I think so.
But see, it's easy. You can grab it from here, or actually, you can grab this one, which has everything that we need. So I don't have to type anything. I can be lazy.
All right.
Right. Request token. Now, are we going as a full-blown? I can't remember which users we added to the registration.
We added you, and I don't remember the other one, but that's fine.
And this is awesome because it will also ask us to do two-factor authentication, 2FA. So it will ping me for my code on the phone. Okay, stay signed in.
Okay. Oh, uh-oh.
Oh, what?
Didn't like something. Something didn't come back correctly.
Access token is wrong. Not found in the response. Huh.
Yeah, it didn't like something. Go back to your parameters. Let's look at it again.
Tokens. I think you need to close this one and then get new access token.
Okay, so client ID, client secret, scope.
Are you sure? Maybe we don't want.
Check your access token URL. Make sure that's correct. Oh, change that to token at the end.
Oh, I didn't copy it. That's why. You know what? I would have looked back at this one. Good lesson. There you go. That's beautiful. Check this out.
All right, so let's take that. Go take that over to jwt.ms and let's take a look at it.
I always do that these days as a best practice kind of thing, just to make sure that it's healthy.
Even though it's not, as the client, we shouldn't be checking them out. But since you're calling your API, we can go take a look at it. And what we should see is your role and the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your audience.
Roles. Data read right.
Now you'll notice your audience. Your audience is not your client ID. It is your app ID URI. So that's one thing that we have to change in your token validator is to look for that. And then you'll see you got your roles down there too, which is cool.
Where's the audience?
First one.
Okay, yeah. Which one? What should this be?
Well, it could be your client ID, or in this case, it's your app ID URI.
And is that the right one?
Yeah, function API demo. Isn't that your? Isn't that the name of your?
Yes. So what you're saying is in the code, when we do the token validation, we need to validate for the right audience. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Ah, okay.
So let's go
Which means that we need to change the token validator slightly.
Yeah.
So here, we're saying that the validate audience is true, and this one's expecting the client ID.
Now, what you could do is instead of valid audience, there's a valid audiences. And you could put both of them in there so that you can account for both of them. I think it's just an array.
Should be new string.
Yeah.
And technically, that should be part of the configuration as well, right?
Yep.
So here. Audience or audiences?
It sort of up to you. I mean, you could have a separate audiences one if you wanted to say like these are valid, but
because that code is used across multiple functions.
Then then you'd want to set it per.
Oh, you mean you want to make it configurable?
Per function.
Per function.
Because if each function has a different.
I'm not going to make it that because it changes per function. And what we're going to do here is we're gonna make create a new public.
I mean, I think in a normal scenario, you'd probably have different functions for different. Like you'd have a different function app for each function, and so the app itself, the app registration itself, would stay the same.
You think so? You have a different app registration per function app or function?
Per function app, but you wouldn't necessarily have multiple app registrations for each.
Oh yes, yeah. So
within a function app, yeah.
Correct. Well, this one is slightly hijacking the. Oh, wait a minute.
Semicolon.
I think that no. I was thinking like the settings of JSON are pointing to a different ID. The client ID is different.
Yeah. So
oh, wait a minute. How did it even work?
Hmm?
So the client ID should be the one that we configure for the function client app registration.
No. This is only for. This is for the server. This is for the API.
Okay. Yeah. So that should be the function API registration. Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
It should really be app ID. Client ID is probably a bad term, but client ID is so ingrained in everything we have that.
Yeah. App ID?
Otherwise.
No, leave it as client ID for now because we'll need to change the code. So how the hell did... Oh, yeah, we only validate the token. Okay, so let's change that to be the correct one. Let's be right.
Well, what's that going to do to your other ones?
It's fine. I mean, I'm not using them for now. And to be honest, it would have been better if we just went for a clear design rather than lumping everything in one go. But we went with the easy way. So application ID, which is the same as the client ID, should be that. And then I need to pass the appropriate secrets, which we put into the sticky notes. There you go. So,
of course, I don't even know if your API probably doesn't even need a secret because you're not doing OBO in here. You're just.
Yeah, I think, is it not used? Let me see. Token validator. Why is it complaining here?
Because we don't sign with the secret, so we sign with keys, and the keys are separate from the secret. So you don't even need the secret. You don't even need to have a secret for the API right now. You would need it. You would need it if you were doing OBO.
OBO.
Because you'd have to go request a token.
Well, this one, the graph client needs it. So I think we use the secret here.
That one's using client creds, right? So that one has to, that one has to have a secret too. But
correct.
I'd say if you're going to have multiple functions within the same app that have different client IDs, that you probably want to have them just as separate, named parameters or whatever. So. But typically, at least in my experience, typically one function app represents an app with a collection of functions in it, and they all sort of use the same. They use the same app ID or client ID for validating tokens.
I think it's going to complain because it needs a constant string to. Nope, doesn't like that. I think I've tried it before. It needs to be right. So I'm putting this one, comma. So I'm putting this one here because the other code that we have does not pass an audience and it would fail. So I want to make sure that it's backwards compatible for now. So we're defaulting it, and if we're passing it, it should work. So get all volcanoes, should do a token validator, validate token, and then pass the audience here. There you go.
Okay.
That should bring back the claims principal.
Okay. And then we're also.
Now we need to check for the claims.
Yeah. So then we have to check the roles claim, and then also check the scope claim. or SCP claim for scopes.
There's scope and roles. Okay, so here let's create a new function or method.
Well, but I'd say before you do that, we might want to check just to make sure your token's getting validated correctly. And then we'll add in our extra checks for roles and scopes.
Sounds good to me. Right. Let's kick it off. Should we put a breakpoint?
Well, let's just see if you get a result first.
I mean, do you have a doubt it's gonna work?
No, but
are we doing localhost or should we do external? Sometimes I use ngrok for these things, but it's fine. So here would be get all volcanoes. I wanted to, you know what? I'll grab it from the other request because we have a name here, so I don't want to copy that. There you go. We have the authorization there. We have the, oh, you know what? What?
Look under available tokens. I think you have one in your list.
Yeah, it usually populates it automatically.
I think the first one of those is bad. Yeah, get rid of that one. Let's use that one. Hit use token.
Yep. There you go. Okay, so the token is there. We got that.
Okay.
We're good to go. I saw red. Ooh, issuer validation, failed issuer. Do we need to pass both issuers? Did not match validation parameter valid issuer. That's interesting. Is it because we have two?
Where's your validation happening? Go back to it.
I think it's because we have both. Maybe. Well, the client ID will be wrong, right?
Well, that's it. That's your audience. This is saying the.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Validate.
Yeah.
What? OID config issuer, and we have the right instance here, which is the same instance. Let's.
Do you have anything hanging off of that? Like, what type is that issuer value? String. Okay.
String.
Put a breakpoint on your.
Here.
Well, maybe right after that, on your 62 maybe. And that way we can make sure that object is getting the right values that it's downloading from config. You do have instance listed, right, in your settings?
Yep.
Okay.
Instance.
All
there you go. So the only thing I changed here is the client ID and client secret, but they're on the same tenant, so it should be fine.
Okay.
Let's run it again.
All right, look at your validation parameters object and make sure that, let's look at our valid issuers.
That is a big object. Validation parameter. What are you looking for?
Valid issuer.
Valid audience is new. Huh. Oh, valid audiences. So we populate that one, remember?
Yep, so there are those two. That's good. So let's look at our valid issuer, and our valid issuer is, as we would expect, B55F. Is that your tenant ID, B55F?
Yeah, that's the right one. Let's double check. Although I didn't change that, so that should be right.
Whoa.
B55. There you go.
Whoa. Back up. Go look at your access token. Your access token is actually a V1 access token. See, notice.
Is it?
Yeah, look at the issuer on it. It's sts.windows.net.
You mean in the... How quickly did you see that?
Habits, man. Old habits die hard. Look at the issuer token, the issuer claim, the second claim in the list, ISS. It's sts.windows.net like that.
So what did I paste the wrong thing inside
No. You didn't do anything wrong. You kind of have to validate either one. So what we can do is in the manifest, we can set your manifest to always do version 2 tokens, and then this problem goes away.
Yes. So here in the manifest, I think it's accept token
Accept the
versions
version,
2.
Set that to 2. Yep. All right. Now you have to get a fresh token from Postman.
That's fine.
Well, let's do that and run it again. Or you could add both of them. In fact, it's probably better long term to have two valid issuers. One is your one is your V1 and one is your V2. But all right, see if that runs.
I'll let that run, and then I'm going to do the new query with a new token.
Okay.
Send.
Did you get a new access token?
I did.
Okay.
Let me just let it run.
Look at your issuer.
No, too late. But I think it worked.
200. Oh wait, are you all the way at the bottom?
Yeah, I think it worked. Boom.
There we go. Awesome.
Right. So
cool.
Last bit. Wire up the authentication authorization there.
Now, because you're getting a claims principal, you should just be able to do claims principal .isEnroll.
Let's go and find out.
And then the SCP claim should be hanging off of the claims collection for that principal.
So you mean, let me see, where are we? Wrong code here. So here you're saying that since we have a claim, if
claims principal
has claim or is enroll?
Do isEnroll first. So this will be our roll check. What's the
What
name
did we
of
do
our
for
roll? Data.read. Something like that.
It's a string, yeah.
Yeah. And then
wait a minute. I have read writes. So does that mean that I only have read write and not read?
That depends on
which is a bit stupid, right?
No, that's correct. You're only in the one you're assigned. Now you can be assigned multiples, which is why
multiple. Yeah. So it should be read write because myself has read write permissions.
Well,
if we check the.
And at this point, this operation is valid for either because we're just reading, right?
Correct.
So you may want to have two that checks both, one that checks either role, right?
Yep. We'll do that just to show that we have the right one. Data read write. Yep.
And then the other one we want to check for the presence of the SCP claim.
Wait. That.
Yep.
Why the?
You've got claims principal twice.
Yeah. I think I need more coffee now. I didn't realize how draining this is.
Wait a minute. Whoa. I don't understand. What's the ternary for?
We say if it's enroll, you don't need to? I don't need to put the ternary there?
I don't think you need a ternary at all, no. And then the next one would be has scope, right? And that one is both does the claim exist, and then we have to check the value.
Claims.
I think, do a has claim first.
That'll be SCP, right?
Yeah, but not get type.
See? Oh, intelligence is just messing with me. Has claim. Or maybe, as I said, I need coffee now.
Okay.
Has. What is that return? Let me see.
It probably wants a claim.
Oh, it needs a.
Yeah, it's a predicate though, so you can just do like x dot type x into x.type equals SCP. Or maybe it's x.name. I think it's
X?
x.name.
Did you say X into? You're the first one that says that. X delta.
Oh. Yeah, type. Yeah. And then that would be a ternary because if it does exist, then let's go check the value.
So wait a minute, that returns Boolean.
Yep. So if they have it, then let's go check the value of it. And that you just get it off the claims collection.
Like a savage?
I
No,
don't
don't.
think it's just an enumerable, so I don't think you can. You'll probably have to do like a first.
First or default, right?
Well, just a first because the default's going to be null, which it shouldn't be if you've got it, right? And then there's a dot value that hangs off of that.
Yep.
And then I guess we might end up with two ternaries.
Why?
Well, because we need to check so far we've made sure that you've got the claim. Then we need to get the value of the claim and make sure that it matches what we're expecting, which is access underscore as underscore user.
That makes it super unreadable now. Let me see. I mean, I
Well,
don't like
you can do
chaining.
them in two separate ones. Do a has scope and then do a scope value matches or whatever.
Yeah, I think
I
that we should
mean,
do.
it's 2020. Variables are free, right? Or close to it anyway. Uh, being
Uh,
readable, being readable is probably way more useful than avoiding one extra couple of allocations, right?
yep. And I'm gonna be lazy and copy that. Oh, wait a minute.
You
We
just
have
need
the
to.
value, right? Yeah.
You just need line 45.
I would say here.
No.
And
Put it back.
why?
Because the only thing you really need out of that is that first line.
Well, we have the value already, right?
Yeah, you need that in your 47. Take that to
Well,
47.
no. See, the has scope is actually going to be the actual value of the claims principal. So what we need to do is say if string dot node is null or empty, then has the right scope. Right, let me just show you what I meant.
Well, okay.
So this should not be has scope. This would be like scope claim. Because we're not returning null, we're not returning a boolean, we're returning the actual
No,
value.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. All right.
What do we return here? What HTTP errors we return?
Here we can return a 403. Because we're going to
Unauthorized?
return 401 if we don't have a valid user, but if we have a valid user that just doesn't have the right things, then we can do a
Unauthorized
403.
access exception?
Forbidden.
Oh, forbidden.
I mean, there's probably some debate. Some people might say everything should be unauthorized, but in this case, you've already authenticated, and you cannot be given another role. You can't give yourself another role, right?
Mm-hmm.
So um, it's not like an authorized thing where we're going to send back an authorized header and say, here's how you go and authorize. This is more of a you're not allowed to do this because you don't have the right permissions sort of thing. I mean, it is still unauthorized in a sense, but typically you don't want to leak out any information to a completely unauthenticated caller.
And is it unauthorized here?
Well, no, because we still know who they are, so we can still do a forbid result here too. And I think typically, kind of depends on. There are lots of different ways, I guess, to do things. Lots of different ways to authorize your NPI or your APIs. So You know, some of this might be, some people might check a role, some people might have an underlying authorization system that, you know, handles more, and then the scopes are sort of, you know, separate, because the scope is more about what the app you're calling from has rights to do with your stuff. So lots of different ways to do it.
Equals scope plane dot equals access as user dot. Is it invariant? Do you use invariant or do you use current culture?
I use ordinal ignore case. Invariant is fine too, though. I mean, ordinal I think is faster because there's no. It's just doing them like
Ordinal.
char by char, yeah.
And in fact, I mean, we could do if not, boom. So we are there.
All right, let's hit it.
That reminds me of a song, isn't it? Na, 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 na. I mean, back in the day. It was like 1999 or something, 1998. Which is more or less around the same time that you grew up, so you should know this song.
Wait, what? What song?
I'll
I grew up in
find it in a second. They call me Hot Stepper. Here comes the Hot Stepper. Na, 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 na. You don't know this song?
I don't think so.
I think they have a Let's Hit It at the beginning of the song. They call me Hot Stepper.
They call me Hot Stepper.
Or Here Comes the Hot Stepper. Sorry, that's the song.
Here comes the
Hot Stepper. I think it opens with Let's Hit It and then goes na na na. Who knows?
All right, hang on. Let me see.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong or am I wrong?
I'll look it up.
Totally unrelated to this one, but it's fine. There you go. We got. This is the validation here. So let me just bypass that.
Okay.
And
500. Didn't like some.
God, no authentication handler is registered for the scheme. You don't have the right scope to call these endpoint. What?
Oh, I don't think that's a message in there. When you send an or when you send those results, it sends back a.
Oh, it does it already?
Yeah, just I would delete your messages. We don't need them.
But it was so nice, giving them the reason why they failed.
But I don't think they ever would have gotten it.
But you do know that there was an overload that allowed you to pass a string, right?
But that's asking for the handler, like the ASP.NET
Authorization
handler. Yeah.
Right. I didn't even pay attention. I was like, oh, string, great. I'll stick something in there. Gotcha. And expects the handler to be a string? That's awful.
Well, because that's how you put them in as names. It's not very, I guess it's okay.
And we have I thought I removed that breakpoint. There. Oh, I think I saw, okay. No authentication scheme.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't use forbid for now. Maybe just return unauthorized for all of them, just for the time being.
Okay.
Although I thought unauthorized sent the same thing, but maybe not.
So I have a new unauthorized also. I'm going to use that one. And we'll do a set and replace this time. There you go. Control H. And then replace with that. And we are cooking.
Yeah,
Let's
because
do
we're not really using like that. We're not really using that pipeline, like the ASP.NET authorization pipeline in here. So we wouldn't
Okay.
have any registered. So, all right, let's see what we get. And then I'm gonna go eat dinner.
It's only 2:44.
Well, it's 2:44 for you. It's 5:44 for me, and your dev box says it's 9:44. So I don't even know what to believe anymore.
You mean there are time zones? Who cares about time zones? Oh, unauthorized.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good.
But this one, oh, right, okay. Why did we get unauthorized though? So let's
Yeah, put your
breakpoint this
breakpoints in
bit.
there.
Let's see what happens. Maybe our logic is a little bit flaky after so many hours. So let's see. Okay, so here's roll.
Is that true?
We'll say true.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
So we're grabbing the scope now.
Okay.
It's empty. We messed something up.
Look
So
at your claims. Look at the claims collection of your claims principal.
Claims principal, claims, result view.
Oh, they're there. All right.
Maybe we didn't grab. You know
Well,
what? It's
the
this long,
schemas.
stupid thing.
Yeah, because it's
Scope.
ASP. It's getting ASP netted. That's okay.
It's getting estimated. Yeah, I think I had to do the same for.
Just grab the. Not that one. You need the type, which
Just
is in,
type?
in the top. No, it's that
This-
one. That schemas.microsoft. Yeah.
Scope.
Yeah.
That.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? I think I did the same as well for the other code I had.
I mean, there's some ways when you create the principal that you can remap it, and when you're doing the JWT that you can remap it to just get clean ones, like that don't have our goop all over them. But for right now, let's just use what's out of the box, so we don't have to go.
Let's put an up there so we can escape all the funny characters.
Yep, and same there. Same with 48 too.
48. Oh yeah. See, I missed that one. Thanks, man. Okay. I think that's us putting the bow on this one. I'll clean up the code and I'll probably move it out to a separate function so we can actually commit it and have a project that has everything in one place without all the extra stuff. So people can go and play with it. I have a breakpoint. Like, why is it taking so long? This has been a fun stream, although it must have been
200.
not
How about that?
How about that?
And
there
we go. Nice.
Thanks. It's
Okay.
been fun. Yep.
I'm out of here. I'm gonna go eat some dinner.
Yeah. Send me the link to the stream. Is it storing it afterwards?
It should, and I'm pretty sure I've got a copy of it too. So I will, after dinner or later tonight, I will check to see if I have a copy of it. Oh, I didn't start recording it. It should be on Twitch, on my Twitch, and on Mixer.
Okay, so in that case, we can send it to Todd to see what he thinks.
Yeah, cool.